Yeah, so my experience was that she was talking about her history of trauma and sexual assault, and then and then I asked her if there was something that she would like to say to the person, to her assailant. And I assumed the role psychologically in like a psychodrama of being that person. And then she started to say to me, you lied to me and you used me and you made me feel like I was special and important to you. And then you got what you wanted out of me, and then you discarded me. And when I was hearing those things, they were going through me, and I was feeling like in the back of my mind the question of, does this belong to me? Does this apply to me? Is she speaking to me? I know she's not, but is she speaking to me? And yeah, it felt like a close call, because that would have landed and hit me not too long ago.
Right. So Mike's, my interpretation of that is that she said things to you like in a well-defined container, a well enough defined container that you could have taken personally, that could have hooked into you.
Yeah.
And if it had hooked into you, as in like you would have taken the things she's throwing at you, that's not for you. If you
Mm-hmm.
have if you had taken it for yourself as something for you to own, or defend against, or if it had dug into you, basically,
Yeah.
instead
If
of
I had
going
reacted
over
to it.
you. Huh?
Yeah. If I had reacted to it.
Exactly. Which it sounds like you felt the reaction, but you actually held yourself
Mm-hmm.
as the hollow bone in a way.
Yeah.
And so you didn't take it personally. But if you had taken it personally, and if she had taken who you are and how you're engaging with her also personally, like if she had been seeing you, not you as the hollow bone, but you as Aaron, if she had been seeing you as the perpetrator, then that to me would have been a definition of trauma bonding,
Mm-hmm.
where the connection between the two of you is based on past experiences, not on current experiences and evidence of you two hurting each other. It would have been because of past experiences. To me, that's what trauma bonding is about. It's it's very difficult to see if you're not aware of your own traumas well enough to know why you're connecting with somebody. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know where it's coming from. And so to me, if somebody is at sort of stage one of the journey to secure, of the four stages, which is sort of unaware, insecure, unaware about their insecurity, so to speak, or unconscious insecure, they're not conscious of their insecurity and where it's coming from, then it makes trauma bonding that much easier. It just happens, and you or the other person thinks, wow, this person's so amazing, I so want to connect with that person. When you don't, and what they or you don't understand, not you in this case, but one person or the other doesn't understand, is that the reason for the connection is because of this past hurt that can be recognized as in another, because at some level they're playing that role, or they become they are put into that role as part of the psychodrama of every single relationship that exists.
Yeah.
And so to recognize that, oh, I just put this person into a role of perpetrator or a role of victim or a role of rescuer, if we're going to use the three, the three main ones, the three faces of victim. If you put them in one of these roles, or in the role of a parent, because reparenting happens all the time in romantic relationships, it's almost impossible for it not to happen. And so when it happens, and there's a lack of realization of what's happening, at what level am I seeing this person as the perpetrator, the victim, or the rescuer?
Yeah.
Then it runs at that level. This is the level at which it runs the show in the background, until a person goes from stage one to stage two, which is aware insecure. They're conscious insecure. So it's some level of, I know I'm insecure and I know why, or at least I'm beginning to know why.
Yeah.
And as a result, there's usually a desire to want to gain some skill and have the capacity to do what you did.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm feeling the thing that could hook into me, but I'm gonna become like the duck and with the water,
Right. Right.
kind of like going all over my back. And
Yeah.
not
To
getting
detach
me
from
wet.
it, to not attach from it. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Or
one
to
of the
not
things,
get hooked.
to not get hooked. And if I did get hooked, two things would have happened. One of them is I would have lost presence. I wouldn't have been there. And the second is that I would have started to try to save her.
Yes.
Because if I saved her, then I would prove to myself that I was no longer the man that I believe that I am, the bad one, right?
Right. So you would have, at some level, she was looking at you playing the role of the perpetrator, and you would have like done a quick, no, I'm not the perpetrator, I'm the rescuer.
Yeah.
You can love me. I am a safe person. I am a safe man. You can,
So,
which is a note, which seems to be a story that's happening all by itself inside of
yeah,
you.
of course. This reminds me of the question of compassion versus pity, because I could see her and feel her, even as I was being kind of rocked by these words that I was hearing. But I didn't want to save her. And one of the most important things for me in that moment, this is the words in my mind, was to honor her aloneness.
Yeah.
I have no place there.
There's something beautiful about the word compassion, because it basically means to suffer with. Compasio, like con passio. I think it's like to be with somebody's suffering.
Right.
And my friend Derek Hart, which has posted on this group many times and also posts amazing stuff all the time on his wall, has a lot to say about holding somebody's pain with them, which to me is that's what compassion is. You're not trying to make it go away. You're not trying to make it better. They're not a child.
Yeah.
But you can be with them. You can say, hey, this really sucks. This is a lot. At some level you open your heart.
You let them into your heart. You give them space.
Yeah, you give them space to be as they are without changing them and making them any different. And hopefully the idea is that they feel like the thing they're holding, they're not holding it alone. So there's an aloneness in the sense that you're not going to have the same experience they had, or if you did, that would be more trauma bonding. But it's the experience of, I am alone in the experience I had, but I'm not alone in the experience I'm having now.
Right. But alone in the experience you had, not alone in the experience now, and yet the only one doing the work is you. And I am here as a witness and a kind of reflection of your own beauty back to you. But this relates to what you said earlier about how we reparent all the time in romantic relationships. And I think that the difference between, doing it consciously and unconsciously is that when we're doing it unconsciously, we want the other person to be our parent. And when we're doing it consciously, the other person just becomes a witness to our child and our parent inside.
Right. Allowing the child and the parent inside to do their own work while somebody else is there, just holding space, for lack of a better term. But but from a witness standpoint, and it's an active it's an active action. And by witness, usually what I mean is you're adding, or you're taking and adding, you're taking nothing and adding nothing to the experience of this person. They just know that you're there, and that allows them to kind of focus on what kind of rearranging is to happen internally in order to integrate.
Yeah. Not because of you and not for you.
Exactly. Right. Not because and not for. However, as a witness, you do, in landmark, they would say you're clearing. You create a space for that to happen, which in a way feels almost like, I like to describe it like it's like this massive cave, and you're in the center of that cave, and you scream something, and the scream goes out, and it doesn't bounce off the walls for a minute, right? It's this sort of like this emptiness, this void potentially, at a spiritual level, if you want to go there, and that void allows for something new to spring forth, or that integration to land where it needs to go without a sense of codependency. So it's an interdependence. The witness and the person being witness and the witnesser, or the witness, are in an interdependent relationship, but it's not codependent.
Right.
It is not. It is not necessary for this person to be this person. Just that the two roles are interdependent, and so this at some level allows for the person being witnessed to have the detachment, to see themselves through the witness, and to go through their integration process, ideally. Yeah, so something like that.